Hi everybody, Gert Louw from a very cold Cape Town. Winter is starting here, there's snow in the mountains and my fireplace is burning. Let's get on with the video. This is going to be a very important video. It's part of 4 videos that I'm going to do. This video is going to be about the Gert Fitness training methodology for the older person. Now to give you an idea, I'm 55. It's going to be part of a 4 video series. Part 1, which is this video, will be about pecs and biceps. Part 2, which I hopefully will bring out the following week, is about shoulders and traps. Part 3, the week after that, will be about back and triceps. And the last one, upper legs and lower legs. And why is it grouped like that? Because that is typically the best training approach for the over 40 guy. But before we get to the pecs and biceps training, let's get the following basics straightened out. Number 1, the over 40 body, and especially the over 50, cannot be trained like 30 or 20-year-old body. It simply cannot take the punishment. Number 2, my training methodology is not meant to create a Arnold Schwarzenegger type of body. It's meant to create a healthy, fit and muscular looking body. 3, fancy moves, guys, is best left to the youngsters. When you're over 40, you stick to the core moves. You stick to the compound moves that is proven to stimulate growth. There were some science studies that was done that showed that doing compounds, especially when over 40 and over 50, actually increase your body's release of testosterone and human growth hormone levels. And that's exactly what the older guy needs. Number 4, quads and abs will be trained in each of the 4 training sessions. They are of a unique muscle type, different than the rest, and this muscle types respond best to frequent, intense training. Point 5, if your blood testosterone levels are not healthy, nothing is going to happen. This is a number 1 important aspect for the older guy that ventures into this body transformation route. Now, an easy way to do this is to get yourself the home testosterone testing kit. You buy it online, they deliver it to your home. In the comfort of your home, you do your test, no problem with doctors, no doctor's fees. Now, after you received your results back, then you need to apply the T-managed plan, the testosterone managed plan, to up your testosterone levels. Point number 6, all of the above, point 1 to 5, everything is going to be completely worthless without a strict focused eating regime. You don't follow a focused diet, you're not going to get anywhere. Now just a note, you guys, if you've never touched a weight and you don't know the inside of a gym, then I suggest that you don't start with the system in this 4-part series videos, that you'd rather do the 3 months phase-in system that I've developed, which help you to start from scratch, knowing zilch. Okay, now all that's covered, so let's move on to the training. The training here is going to be for a building phase environment. We typically train to failure at low reps with heavy weights. But guys, be under no misconception as to the intensity that's required for your training. You're not going to stimulate the muscle for growth if you do not apply a certain intensity. Okay, now what's my training intensity methodology that I apply? It's as follows. Before the age of 40, you can pretty much train each set to the point of failure, and that will stimulate muscle growth, and the body can take it. But between the age 40 to 50, you should train at a 90% failure rate. That means when you do a set, you should stop 90% short of complete and utter muscle failure. For example, if I do 8 reps per set and I'm between the age 40 to 50, when I stop with my last rep, my 8th rep, I should be able then to do 1 last rep. Between the ages 50 to 60, now that's where I'm 55. You should train to an 80% failure rate, meaning that when you finish with your last rep, your 8th rep in a set, you should still be able to do roughly 1.5 reps before absolute muscle failure. Ages 60 to 70, we're talking about a 70% failure rate, and so on. Now, just to show you what I mean when I talk about intensity, have a look at this clip that I'm putting on now, because I've seen so many guys at gym that think they're working out very, very hard, but in the meantime, I laugh at them. They got no clue as to what real intensity training is, and they have no idea what true muscle failure means. It's balls to the wall training, guys. Okay, now the training is going to be 4 days a week. You can schedule in a 5th day. That is where you should focus on your lagging muscle groups. Training day 1, pecs and biceps. Your total sets, excluding your warm-up, is going to be 21 sets. Now for warm-up, you're talking here about 5 to 10 minutes. Don't do stretches for warm-up. Stretches should be done when the muscles is already warmed up. The warm-up should consist of 3 sets of 25 knee-ups. And when you finish with that, you do 3 sets of body squats, and you can throw a medicine ball if you want to. Now these 6 warm-up sets is going to be more than sufficient to get the blood pumping. Okay, the first exercise you do will be incline bench. You do 3 sets of 8 reps. After the bench press, 1 to 2 minutes stretching. Stretch the muscle that you train. Next exercise, abs, 2 sets of 25 reps. Guys, when you do ab crunch with the exercise ball, you need to feel your ab muscles ache. After that, you move on to the biceps. You'll do alternating bicep dumbbell curl. 3 sets of 8 for each arm. Again, when you finish with that, you should stretch the muscle for 1 to 2 minutes that you just finished working out. Now you move on to calves. 2 sets of 20 standing calf raises. Next up is the flat bench press. This time you're not doing 3 sets, but you're doing 2 sets of 8 reps each. After training, you stretch again the pecs for 1 to 2 minutes. The next exercise is going to be for your abs. This time the Russian twist. It primarily works the obliques, but it also works the whole core. Here you do 2 sets of 24 reps. Next up, one of my favorite moves, the bicep concentration curl with dumbbells. 3 sets of 8 for each arm, and when you're in the top position of this move, keep it there for about 1 second and squeeze the bicep muscle. This is an excellent move to create great shape for the bicep. Again, after the training, you stretch the bicep muscle for 1 to 2 minutes. Next up, calf raises, but this time you do that seated. 2 sets of 20, and when in the top position, hold for 1 second before you release. The last exercise in this training, bench flies with dumbbells. You're going to do 2 sets of 8. Do not go lower than the shoulders, otherwise you're going to hurt your tendons. Now when you finish with the training here, that's at the end of your training, do some cool down stretches where you stretch all the muscles of the body that you've trained, and you do that for about 3 to 4 minutes. Right, now we're finished with the training system, but let me discuss my growth methodology. There's 4 points here. Number 1, you keep your training sessions as short as possible. If you're going to train longer than, let's say, 60 minutes, you're getting into the danger zone. For the older guy, when you work out, let's say, intensely for longer than 60 minutes, you're taking a huge risk that you're going into catabolic mode. And catabolic mode means that your body going to start using energy from the muscles. You never want that to happen, because that means no growth. And if you do that on a regular basis, you'll actually find that your growth will completely stagnate. You might move backwards with smaller muscles. So not longer than 60 minutes for a training session. Point number 2, slight soreness must be felt the next day. If you struggle to get out of bed because you're so sore, and you struggle to move around the next day because you're so sore, that's bad. That means there's so much muscle fiber damage because of the training, and that damage is going to take so long to repair that there's going to be virtually no time for the muscle to actually grow. This is another reason why a lot of guys new to the sport of bodybuilding don't grow. Their growth stagnate because they're overtrained, they train too hard, and the muscles hasn't got time to actually grow. It must first go through a repair cycle, and then it can only start growing. And when there's too much damage, the cycle takes too long. Only slight soreness. Number 3, crucial that you feed the muscle directly after your training session 2 things. The one is a banana or an apple, and the second thing is 20 to 40 grams whey protein powder. The 4th point, you will find that if you stick month in, month out to the exact training environment and system, that you will sooner or later reach a plateau with your growth. Critical, as I discussed in my previous video, is to employ the 16 training principles to keep your training fresh and new. Only when the attack on the muscle is fresh and new on a continual basis will the body reach optimal environment for growth. The exercise stays the same. It's the attack that must change, and that you do with that 16 training principles. So next week, guys, we're going to do day 2, which is going to be shoulders and traps. Okay guys, now as you can see, my information is free, so I ask those of you that can afford it to please make a small donation for all my efforts. And if you watch all my other visuals, see I speak positively into people's lives. So those of you that can, please help guys. And then of course I've got my customized coaching system, which I've developed for the older guy, which include all my teachings. It's customized for you, for your body and your goals, and it helps you step by step to put everything correctly in place. And then I added a new page to my site. This is my supplements order page. That is where I put up a list of all my preferred supplements and the supplements that I discuss in all my videos. I tell you what to get, where to get it, and for some there's even some good discounts. Everything is on there, even TRT. Now that's it guys. May I have intense and sweaty training sessions and may that muscles grow. Gert Louw signing off from a very cold Cape Town. Cheers everybody.